It is.
And there he is. Let's listen to what old Jim Ross is saying.
Very, very beautiful facility. All the comforts of home
called
and
the
more,
dude's house a facility.
And the champion knows how to style and profile, as his home certainly evidences. You know, fans, a lot of questions have arisen regarding the status of the world's heavyweight champion. Will Ric Flair wrestle again? And if so, when? We're going to ask those questions and more for the champ's first appearance on national television since May the 7th in Nashville, Tennessee at Wrestle War 89. So I know he's home. I spoke with him just earlier. We're going to talk to the champion now and find out the questions I know you want answered. Hey, Rick.
Jim, how are you, sir?
How you feeling?
Fine.
Good.
Getting better.
Good. Glad you could spend some time with us.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Beautiful place. Overwhelms every time I'm here. Overwhelms me.
Well, thank you. I'm very proud of it. Please come in and sit down.
Okay. I think.
What do you think of Rick answering the door with shades on inside his house and a neck brace and a Lakers wind jacket and a gray rectangle? It's taped. It's not even live. How does this continue to happen?
Somebody's got an answer for this shit.
What do you think he said right now? So I called Conrad and I said, "Hey buddy, I'm in the hospital. I've got issues with my heart. I'm not going to make Starrcast."
But I'm sure that's going to be okay because, I can't pay attention from one thing to the next, and I'm not running my life now. Fifi is. And I'd just like to say that for all the people that I miss Starrcast, but guess what? I won't show up to the next one either.
What's wrong with you?
I know him.
This is the wildest piece of tape ever. I kind of forgot this happened where he's here in a neck brace, having been pile driven by Terry Funk on the table and chilling at the house in a Lakers jacket and some shades. Let's kick in the audio again here. See what Ricky's saying for real.
I knew day one after the airplane crashed that I would make it back. The doctors said that I would be able to at some point in time wrestle again. Now it's a question mark. So I feel good, but it's real hard not knowing what the future holds for me with the sport of professional wrestling.
Well, it's great to hear that you're feeling better. But I think, knowing you as I do, I have to ask a question. How do you feel mentally?
Well, as you go through life, and I don't care what you do for a living, you incur ups and downs. But mentally, it's been the hardest part for me. I've always been active. I've wrestled for the National Wrestling Alliance. I've worn the banner, carried the championship for eight years now, traveling 300 plus days a year. It's hard sitting in the sidelines. I'm the kind of guy that wants to be taped up and in the game all the time. It's even more difficult to sit here on Saturdays and watch the wrestling programs and see what's happening right now in the NWA and not being able to do anything about it.
Another question. I think the fans are all aware that the world's heavyweight champion must defend the title every 30 days. That's a stipulation that has been honored since the inception of the NWA. Quite obviously, you've been physically unable to do that, and we've just gone past that 30-day situation, but in the 5th week now. I think it was a good, sound move, the NWA, to waive that situation right now, seeing as though it was their judge that did the injury. Have you and the board set a timetable where you must make some sort of decision as to your future and the future of the championship?
Well, let me go on record as saying the NWA has bent over backward to make this deal fair for me. I had 30 days to defend the title, and they gave me an additional 30 days. My agent and accountant, Tom Beck, and my attorney, Dennis Guthrie, have met with Jim Hurd and the board of directors on 3 different occasions now, trying to work out something that we all can live with. Of course, The bottom line being, though, if I am not able to compete or will not compete, they will take the title from me. And I guess that's one of the reasons we're here today. I am going to make the announcement July 1st. I'll spend a lot of time these next 2 weeks, putting this back together and trying to get back into wrestling. I won't come back 75%. I wouldn't give anybody in this sport the satisfaction of beating me for the championship if I wasn't 100%. So if I'm not 100%, then I will have to sit on the sidelines, and they will take the title from me. It's the most coveted trophy in sports. It deserves to be on a man that's in the ring. It deserves to be in the ring. It deserves to be in the public eye, and right now it's not.
I have to ask you this question. We're taping this on Tuesday afternoon. We're basically 24 hours away from the Clash of Champions that is airing in. If Terry Funk were watching this right now on a monitor, what would you say to him?
Well, I think if Funk could see my eyes right now, I wouldn't have to say anything. You know what I mean by that, Jim? You can tell by looking at a man's eyes what's on his mind real fast. I think the wrestling fans know, and I know Funk knows, that if my neck could carry my heart, he wouldn't make it out of Fort Bragg tomorrow night because I'd be there. But I won't give Funk, as I said earlier, the satisfaction until I'm 100%. And Terry Funk, if you are watching this, don't sleep well at night, because Ric Flair, 30 days from now or a year from now, will be at your door.
Well, fans, we are all anxiously awaiting the July 1st announcement. We'll have that right here on Superstation TBS, hopefully, the press conference. It'd be great if we could carry it live, but we'll be working on that and keep you updated on that situation. I want to thank you for your time.
Jim, thank you. It's always a pleasure. Nice seeing you.
It's great seeing you again. I always enjoy coming to your home. Thanks for inviting us in. And
thank you very much.
Fans, will have more of the Clash of Champions right after this timeout.
Most of the towns during the Great American...
So there you go. We're setting the stage for Great American Bash 1989. It's going to be Terry Funk and Ric Flair. They, of course, are not announcing that yet. They're teasing that big announcement coming on July 1st. And they're doing a good job hyping the pay-per-view here. I mean, that's really what this entire thing is.
I get that. And I understand that. You and I have talked before about a subdued babyface Ric Flair is not our favorite Ric Flair.
That's correct.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. That whole, and this is, I'm not sliding JR because you know what I think about him. I'm not sliding Ric Flair because he's the greatest performer of all time. But that whole fucking segment bored the fuck out of me.
Yeah. It was not, they're trying to play it serious.
Right.
Which I can appreciate, but it's not what we want from Ric Flair.
No, it's not. It's not. And I don't know if it really sells anything or not.
So here's a flashback. We've covered this show before. This was a show I recently covered on the show. It's the pay-per-view, Wrestle War 89 from May in Nashville. And this is the end of the trilogy with Steamboat. And of course, at the end of that, Terry Funk was one of the judges. He wants to get a title shot. Flair refuses. Terry Funk goes crazy, attacks him, eventually hits a pile driver on the outside. I mean, it's nuts. By the way, the Gulf War you're referring to starts on August 2nd, 1990. So about a year after this.
Right.
You know, we talked about that a minute ago, though, that, you know, there were so many different influences on pop culture at the time, but when you're marketing to kids, at least, you know, there's Rambo action figures and G.I. Joe cartoons and action figures. And there was just a major influence, you know, like as a kid, most kids my age played Army, you know, like
I played Army. Yeah. We had guns. We went all over our neighborhood with guns.
It's weird now though, you know, that, you know, in the era of school shootings and just the way things are now, like you're not going down a toy aisle and seeing a bunch of toy guns. But when I was a kid, man, half the damn boys section was nothing but guns.
All right.
And, that makes a lot of sense that they would go when you're like, oh man, they're doing so much Army stuff on this. Well, I mean, they're catering to that audience, right?
Yeah. They got a lot of Nerf guns now, though. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that, but they do have a lot of those. But I wanted there's a lot of going on behind him there.